All right.
All right. Welcome, beautiful souls, to another fabulous episode of the Faith Fitness Joy podcast. I am your host, health coach, and healer, Rochelle Renee. And today I have an amazing guest here to discuss mindset that you need to succeed. But first, just a couple reminders before we dive into today's episode. If you are not already, please make sure to remember to like, subscribe, and share the podcast. And as always, I greatly appreciate all of you who tune in regularly, those of you who are subscribed, and for your continued support. If you would like to make a contribution to support the show, make sure you click that link in the comments on the Facebook Live, or you can find it in the episode description on the podcast apps or on YouTube, which is also Faith Fitness Joy. And without further ado, I would love to welcome our special guest today, Consuella Hopkins, who has created many businesses, and she is your good money multiplier. And she is going to help us learn about what it has taken her in terms of mindset to have all of this success in business. So welcome, Consuela. Thank you for being here today.
Well, thank you so much for having me, Rachel. This is amazing. I always want to give a round of applause to you. Thank you so much for having me on your podcast. It's been amazing. I've watched some of the other episodes and good job. Keep it up.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And I'm super excited to have you here today. Um, so I know, like I mentioned, you have a number of different businesses that you have created, which
Yes.
I find incredible because like just one is like overwhelming. So that's amazing. Um, and I know we've talked a little bit about some of your background with that. And of course, we've met through our mutual mentor, Mike, and in the inner circle.
Yes. Inner circle's the bomb.
It is, it is. So lots of great people in there. And of course, Mike is awesome. Um, so now I know from having experienced you in the inner circle, but also from our conversations and kind of planning for having you come on,
Yes.
you have you have an incredibly like positive vibe, and you have an incredibly positive mindset. And so before we kind of talk more about that, I wanted to see if you might share with the audience some of what you shared with me about kind of where you were before you ventured out into starting your first business, and how you created that first business.
Oh, wow. So for me, again, thank you for having me. And the beginning for me, I am raised around entrepreneurs. My mom was an entrepreneur. My grandfather was an entrepreneur. So we had this entrepreneur spirit all around me all my life, right? Back then, you didn't call it entrepreneurship, but also just go-getters and people that were very good. I was blessed to be raised by good folks, positive attitude, and we just, treated everybody well. And first, I'm first generation college graduate, but I'm also the first generation teenage mom. I had my first child when I was 16 and then my second at 19. So I was growing up very young, thinking all men were like my grandfather, right? These very strong and supportive and just amazing men. And then I realized earlier that everybody just doesn't keep their promises, right? So here I am, I'm young and I'm dealing with broken promises. And I'm like, what am I supposed to do? And in high school, then college, I would literally, Rachel, be the one at the cafeteria table in college and doing people's taxes, right? That was how I got gas money and paid for my books and whatever. In childcare, mostly is what I was raising money for, right? So it was just, I always knew that failure wasn't an option. So I knew that I had to figure out legally, how do I make some money legally? Hence, good money multiplier, right?
That's incredible. I, so I just love that, like how you just kind of um, okay, this is what I need to do. I got to get a game plan. I got to figure out a path forward. And these are my skills. These are the things I can do. And so you found a way to, make that work.
Well,
As
absolutely. Absolutely. And I tried several different things, right? I've done, network marketing, which was, I'm telling you, teaches you some really good sales skills, right? I learned that early. And I'm telling I did door to door, I cleaned homes, you name it, right? But then what I knew is that I had a lot of skills. I had a lot of skills, and but what can I do that could truly maximize that moment that I could still be, mom, full-time student, and full-time, employee at the time.
Yeah, so that I don't know why, but that story from the Bible has come into mind of the woman with the oil. It's kind of the same
Yes,
concept, like
yes.
use your oil, like, and we have these things we don't always think of that we can use to be of service, but also kind of things that we have that we've either been gifted or that are just kind of our natural talents and skills.
Absolutely. Oh my God, it's a good segue. I like that on so many levels because we are all blessed. That's one of the things I talk about. I know we haven't gotten there yet, like in the Good Money Multiplier company, is that we all have what called our distinct natural ability. What was that oil we were given, right? That we could use, to multiply. So absolutely. I like that.
Yeah. So I also we talked a little bit about this, and you kind of just sort of briefly mentioned that having kind of that past in corporate. And for me, like I was in that. Well, I worked for in the government for over 20 years. But point being, kind of familiar with that shift from like being in that and kind of the mindset of like the having a job, and this is like kind of like how you're bringing in your income, to when you transition to being self-employed.
Oh my
um
God.
yeah, like the mental game of that is just whoa. Like I kind of
I
knew, but
mean, corporate America, I am so, so thankful for my corporate American experience. Like, after college, I was blessed to get they call it a corporate management trainee program at the bank, one of our largest local banks in our community. Literally, they had 18 different departments in the bank, and I was able to train as a manager in each department. Had no idea a bank had 18 departments, right? So, I mean, you're talking about trust, wealth management, commercial credit, retail, stocks, you name it, investments. I loved it. So it really gave me a huge, and you talk to a money gal. So I was able to talk and learn money and really put those. I love economic and my economic class in college, and put those real life experience to life was amazing. Amazing. The connections and networking I was able to do. But here's the deal. Again, right? I was a mom. I was a young mother, still single at the time, really focused. And it was, okay, now you have to work on Saturdays. Well, okay. Then it was, oh, now you have to work on Sundays. I'm like, wait a minute. Like, who's going to raise these? I gotta raise these babies. I love being their mother. And it was like there was never enough. I mean, I'm bringing in $1 million clients. I would get like a $50 bonus, you know. And but I'm loyal. I'm very loyal. I understand, taking care of your employer, right? They pay you for a service, and I'm gonna show up and I'm gonna do it well. But at the same time, I just really started understanding my own worth and was like, I could never give them enough. It's always more and more and more and less for us. And I'm like, I'm too young. I want to enjoy this life that I want to enjoy the fruits of my labors. And so after a while, I just knew that it was just time for me to start my own.
that's yeah, I can relate to that in some ways for sure, especially just the like your life. And for me it was like I had my kids after I'd already been working for a long time, and so there was a bit of like I just felt like I never saw them. And I will never forget the daycare lady telling me that my youngest had said his first word or taken it, and I was just like, oh.
Oh, and
So
you missed that part. Yeah.
yeah.
And we gotta embrace it, especially as women. And we're talking about mindset, right? Today, our money mindset. Like, there has to be. I really, really, when I was really thinking about, starting my own accounting firm and what does that look like? And, like, I can write my own time. I can write my own story. I can, I want to work 4 days out the week. Back then, no one talked about that, right? Wasn't no book written, so I would have my long weekends and be able to go to my son's football games or my daughter's, recitals. But corporate America just made you feel like taking the time to do those things, it was like you're wrong. And
Yeah.
I'm like, this doesn't make sense, right? I want a life and where I can be able to enjoy my family, but then also create money and things for other people as well. So yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. And you've done it and you're here now. You've gone from starting with the one to multiple. But I want
Yeah.
to talk a little bit about like what that was like in that early part, like when you first went, that transition from having been in corporate and now venturing out to being self-employed, that some of that shift, but also, what kinds of things did came up for you with regard to mindset, and how did you kind of navigate that in with regard to the mindset, because I know for me it was a shock.
I was like, what did I do? Right? What in the world? And I just knew that I knew there was like something within my soul that I knew I was destined to start my own accounting firm. I had been talking about it for years, and um, so I was a nervous wreck. I mean, right, in the sense of because everything that could go wrong for me went wrong when I first started my accounting firm. I started from home. I had, turned my family room in the lower level into my office, right? So we had computers and desks, and I had a team of one and a reception. So I had everything we needed. And I'm telling you, my first tax season, the internet went out, right? First thing that happened, I was part-time, I was still at the bank. And I'm out in the countries for us, like in the county. So we have like septics. You ever heard of a septic system, which you have
Mhm.
so if the power goes out, so does your septic. So the power goes out, we're waking up, we're trying to get to work, trying to get the kids to school, we're figuring out, all of that. I come home that evening and the power is on, but someone left water on in the upstairs bathroom in the restroom. So literally, everything when I get home, everything is flooded. Everything, computer is gone, desk is gone, the papers, the reams of paper I bought, the forms, the computers, the you name it, flooded, just flooded.
Oh,
Oh
oh
my
my.
God, I was hurt, right? But then I knew and those are those moments in you, and you'll know, like, this is my sign that I gotta keep going. Something wants me to stop from this versus saying this is it. For me, I knew that I started that year from my kitchen table. And do you know the year when I finally walked away from the bank full time? Because I'm like, I got to do this. I have to step out on faith and do it. I made more in the first month than I did all year at the bank at
Wow.
my kitchen table at my kitchen table. So mindset is everything. It is everything. I could have said, no, that's it, or, it could have been all those things. I went to good. Now, first I bought a new computer, everything was new. So after it got ruined and the insurance was taking too long because we're in tax season now. Like I started my accounting firm first with taxes and then built up something, I had a few accounting clients, but we built that side of it up. Because I wanted to work smart. I wanted to work 6 months out the year and then be off 6 months out the year. And that's what I did. Right. So when I started, though, back to the story, I had to go to Goodwill and I got a used computer. Right. I had used my kitchen table. So all those things that I thought I just really needed to have, and I wanted to look really nice, because you know me, I mean, I am over the top with certain things. But that's who I am, right? I love people and I love showing up in this world. But that's how I started.
I I can't emphasize how much I love that story. Now I'm kind of like I'm a little on the woo-woo side. I don't have a problem admitting that, but so I always kind of see meaning in things and interpret things. But and the water story to me, it's kind of like you were about to have this flood of success and kind of the clearing of
Mm.
making way for you to create this new. And I just love what you did in that time, in that moment. Like I needed to hear that. I'm sure other people needed to hear that story. Like you're just like, this is my sign, instead of taking it like some kind of defeat or like a signal of, that maybe that's you've made the
Oh,
mistake.
absolutely. I mean, because for me, I was the first generation college graduate, right? First generation, to even start my own full-time business. And well, my grandfather and they had a business full-time, but for me, well, I should say to quit corporate America. My mom, who loved me dearly, supports me in everything. Nobody in my family was like, start your own accounting firm, leave corporate America, right? You got this good job, good benefits, and you want to start your own business, like nobody. But I knew within me, I mean, I can't even describe the feeling to this day, that drive that was in me to know that it's scary, it's frightening, but you got to do this. And to me, I say this all the time, like, and I want anyone who's listening, right? Failure is not an option. You have to go into it that failure is not an option. That was everywhere for me. I wrote it down, I thought about it. Failure was not an option because this is it. I got to be able to, because what I was doing wasn't working for me. I was miserable. I wasn't creating. I'm color and life. How many accountants do you know that's the way? Many of them, what, so there was already something different about me that I knew that I wanted to enjoy and explore in the world. And so it was not easy. And I can't sit here and say that, oh, I had it all figured out. I knew I had enough figured out to get started. But then after that, I knew I would figure it out along the way. And we did.
Yeah, it sounds like, I mean, that's just, like I said, I love that story. But transitioning a little bit because, why have one business after all that when you can have many businesses? Um, you have you have several. So how did you start to like move beyond that and then looking into like expanding
Oh my
and
God.
other businesses? And then I would imagine, I know there's a saying in the mindset space of like new level, new devil, like as you keep trying
Ooh.
to do more, like you're also like bump up against
In progress. Sorry about that.
uh,
Oh my goodness. Yes. So, wow. So one business, I am a creator. I believe that we all, again, that distinct natural ability. And the more and more you are in tune with who you are and what was I feel like we're destined to be on this earth to accomplish something. And you spoke earlier, the scripture in the Bible, where it talks about the talents, right? And those who had, I think he gave 7 talents or gave 6, and he went out and multiplied them, right? And so the more, I believe, the more that you do that, the more you have to do, the more you have to do, and the more the Lord can trust you in things, the more that he gives you. And it was not something I at all set out to do, but I do have a servant heart. And I knew that tax season was amazing. I literally could work 6 months out the year, and the other 6 months, we traveled. I was able to homeschool my children. We lived in Florida for 6 months, and where then also in Indiana is where my accounting firm is at. We're Indiana back then. So now we're virtual. So I can do work anywhere. Love that. And so, but what I also understand too is that with that wealth mindset, and I knew I had to leave a legacy. I knew that me having 2 children at 16 and then again at, by 19 years old, that I had to have, I felt like I was always behind, right? Like I was always behind trying to make things up, and my children are amazing, right? So they have these talents and they were so intelligent and just go-getters, right? They tried me on every end because they mama's child, right? They very strong-willed. But I knew that what I was doing was going to take more. And I knew that I was going to have to figure out how to multiply it, not so much just do more in the sense of working more. How do we create? And I found earlier Robert Kiyosaki. I read Rich Dad Poor Dad, right? And it gave me that understanding, like that's it. And so I started creating multiple streams of income. So I spoke before, like we did the tax season. Well, what goes along with that? I call that my vertical, right? What's that vertical stream of income that I can do that? I'm sorry, not vertical, but horizontal, right? That goes along with taxes. Well, accounting, I had an accounting firm. So we really just started, going after and growing our county, right? Then it was, okay, they need payroll as well. So we did payroll. And so what were those other streams of income we can do? Well, I'm a community gal. I come from a long lineage of people who look out and love and take care of other people. And one of the things I realized is one year I did my marketing for my county firm, and all the marketing started coming back, like like it was non-occupied. I'm like, what's going on? We go around the community and I realized a lot of our seniors and a lot of people were losing their homes because the taxes were skyrocketing. And
Yeah.
people were just debating, literally, people were in the community debating rather they're going to pay their taxes or get medicine and groceries. I mean, it was real life. People read this on the news, but it was our real life. And I'm
Yeah.
like, what the heck is going on? And so what I realized is that, okay, this is my base, right? And if this is going on here in this community, is going on in other communities. And so that's long story longer, right? Like Mike would say. It just really got me in more into to real estate. I love real estate. My mom grew up, I grew up with my mom, and that was her entrepreneurship thing. She loved real estate. And I knew then that we were just going to start healing our community, right? And providing quality homes. And that what got me into real estate. So that was, another stream of income for me.
Wow, that's amazing. Again, you saw, not just, about not as simple as how can I create kind of another opportunity, but it kind of came organically as you were working on
Yes.
something else, and then you saw a way to bring in your natural inclination to be of service with this, getting your marketing back. So I love that.
Absolutely. And I think that's the blessing in it. Now, it was not easy, literally. I mean, so now, what was that? Back in 2006, I purchased first my first um real estate property. Right now we got over 20 commercial and real estate, I mean residential, we got lots. And so we literally, I just met with another investor who wants to do 100 homes, right, in Swalesville within the next year. So it's huge. But back then I was just trying to fill a need. I knew that I'm well at this. I can do this, right? My husband was an amazing um maintenance director already, so he knew maintenance and construction and all of that. And so I was looking for ways to create opportunities. And so it just fit. It just fit in the wheelhouse. And at first, I wasn't sure how to connect the dots. And you may not always be sure, right? So that's that mindset. But I knew it was given to me to do, and it was an assignment. So along the way, just started working out. And I may even show you my board. So I'm in literally one of our commercial spaces now. We call it Savos. It's Swalesville Office Studios and Suites. We
Oh,
call it
nice.
Savos. And what we did, so entrepreneurs, we revamped and rehabbed and restored an old medical, it was a dentist office actually, a medical building into 15 private office spaces. Yes. So now entrepreneurs in the community could come and have a professional place to do business. We got a professional boardroom. There's a great waiting area as well as a break room. But you have your own, it's common areas, but you have your own private suite, and it's so gorgeous. And so again, just creating, what does the community need? What do we need and how do we fix that need? And that's what I've done. I literally became a multimillionaire by caring for my community. Didn't set out to do it, but that's where it landed me. So I'm so excited. And I got so much more we want to do.
That's awesome. And it sounds like, I mean, it's like you just kind of keep building on things naturally as they come up, and almost a little bit serendipitous. I don't want to discredit like the work and like everything that goes into it, but how these things have kind of come up and just sort of like presented these opportunities. And then,
Absolutely. But the mindset, but see, I do my work every morning, right? So I want to really touch on that because what does that mean when I do my work every morning? So, I journal, I take my time, right? And I pray and I sit and I listen. And so doing those things, and sometimes I'm telling you, I just got to brain. I think I'll talk to you. Sometimes I just got to, brain dump and write and write and write. It doesn't matter what it is, just write it out. And so, but doing that and sitting and listen when opportunities come, I know if that's an opportunity for me or if that's something maybe for someone else. Because I mean, people come to me every day, all the time, right, for opportunities, but is it the one for me? Right? Because you don't want to just go here and there because that'll wear you out. But you need to know where you're going. Like, what does that look like for me? For you, my family, my legacy. And that's what we talk about in the Good Money Multiplier. So literally, we talk. So I started with the accounting firm. Then we, went into real estate. And then with the real estate, I'm like, I'm really good at teaching people how to do this. We literally created the Good Money Multiplier where now I travel the world teaching 6 and 7 figure earners how to see the money they didn't even know they had and teach them how to multiply it. And what is that? By business coaching, I teach them business and tax strategies. Rachel, people are making 6 and 7 figures and still living paycheck to paycheck. Because if
That's,
you're not taught how to manage your money, right? It
yeah.
doesn't matter. I mean, you can make money. Think of
Mm-hmm.
corporate America, perfect example. Corporate America, people are making 6, 7 figures, but they still don't know finances. They still don't know how to manage their money. They have no direction or even an understand a money mindset and even how to get started, right? And so that's where I'm like, okay, I'm seeing this over and over. I should be able to, and by then my kids are older now. They're out on their own. I'm ready to travel. And I ran into this amazing coach who she was just like, oh, do you hear yourself? I mean, you giving us all this game for free. And she was like, let me show you how I can help you, really share this with the world. And here we are. The rest is history. So it's been amazing on so many levels.
Yeah, it sounds like it. I mean, there's just so many things that you one got going on and have built, but then all that you've learned and different ways that you can look at like sharing that knowledge. Um,
Absolutely.
and speaking of, so one of the things I wanted to ask a little bit more about before we kind of shift gears back to the money multiplier. But if you were going to share some guidance with those listening, thinking about, your either your earlier parts of your path in entrepreneurship or even where you are now, what would you say to maybe somebody who's thinking about stepping out to start a business of their own and maybe they're scared or that's in the early stages and is kind of feeling like I don't know what I got myself into.
Mhm.
Mm.
I would say the first thing they want to do is just really be clear in making sure their business has a foundation. I'm again in our accounting firm, I've seen businesses been in, 20 years, 10 years, 15 years, and their structure or their foundation is out of order. So they're still struggling. And there are really some things you can start, you want to put in place. You know, are you structured correctly? Do you have the right bank accounts, right? Is your EIN correct? There's so many things that you want to make sure you put in place. Is your contracts correct? There's things that they want to make sure no matter what you're doing in business, how does your team look? What is that you're going to really do? Is your business plan? So many people do not like business plans, and I get it. I get it. But what I like about a business plan is it helps you to at least think through everything, right? Have you really thought it through and seen the snares? But more importantly, I would say get a mentor. Get a mentor that's not where they got to be above where you're trying to go, because therefore they'll help you talk through those things. They'll make sure that you know exactly what you're doing because if not, I mean, you just want to have a solid foundation when you're building on. And because I was in the finance industry, because I had the experience that I've had, at the bank growing up, watching all these entrepreneurs in my life, I understood what that foundation looked like. I learned what to do and what not to do, right? And so it made a difference. Now I made plenty of mistakes, because again, I'm the first generation millionaire in my family. So there was a lot of things I was doing that who could I ask? And so I would definitely say that and do not become an island. That'd be my second thing.
Mm.
As an entrepreneur, especially women, for all the women out there, we're doing everything ourselves, especially when you're building a business. I know I did. And, I stopped hanging out with my friends because I had work to do, right? And they were going out partying, maybe going traveling. And well, I may not have the money because my money's invested in something else. Or I knew that I needed to spend this time with my children. So, and or more importantly, they weren't having the same conversations I wanted to have. I
Yeah.
wanted to talk about profit and loss statements and marketing strategies, and they didn't want to do that. So I just found myself where, I had built this island, right? It's growing. But when I looked around, it was just me. Didn't have friends or mentors or other people that was having the same conversation that I had. So, but if I could do anything different, I would start searching for them circles earlier, right? Now we're in a world of Zoom and online, but 30 years ago we didn't have this, we didn't have it,
Yeah.
right? So now you can it's easier to plug into real people. I feel like that's your tribe.
Yeah.
So,
That is, I have a past working in behavioral health actually, and at the state level, I worked in substance use disorders and treatment
mm,
recovery, and it's interesting because that there was a concept about the importance of social support, which is kind of what this touches on. It's like I don't know, I guess it's a light bulb moment for me a little bit. Like, why wouldn't you bring that into something like this where you are, you're in maybe uncharted territory, you're learning new
wow.
things, you're in this. It takes a lot of faith too, I've learned, right? Like, you're
Oh
definitely
yes.
like out there
Yes.
kind of like hoping this path unfolds before you. So to have people that you can, that have been there,
Yeah.
huge.
Yeah, but that's huge, and so again, and we miss out on that, especially with women. Most of us, if you're an extrovert or if you're in business, right, you got to learn to network and connect with people. But it's so valuable. It's just so valuable because sometimes you just need to say, "Girl, if I have to do another marketing campaign," you know what I mean, and then or even talking with one another and getting ideas off of what you're doing, and what someone else is doing. I'm telling you the big my biggest, I would say, money makers in whatever I'm doing. It could be designing a house or, a new campaign in my tax. It's been from talking to other people, so, and I'm telling you, for way too long, I was on this island because for me, it was two reasons. Because I still had a lot of naysayers around me, like, you sure you don't want to go back to corporate America? Because when you climbing, you look like you on the struggle bus. And even though you're accomplishing things, it just don't look pretty. And so, you sure you don't want to go back to that good corporate job? And sometimes I did think about it. But when I thought about the freedom that I had, right?
Yeah.
The freedom to make my children breakfast and sleep in a little bit if I wanted, because I just stayed up to 4 o'clock working on something or whatever it was, that it was so worth it. But it's just good to be able to um meet people like yourself, right? I invested in myself to be around other like-minded individuals, and it's a game changer. And I'm telling you, I would suggest people, if you're going to do business, do it well, invest in yourself along the way. Invest in yourself because you'll get there quicker. You'll get there quicker. I heard a gentleman say, and I'm telling you, it's just as easy to make $1 million as it is to make 1,000. And he's right. It's right. It's just whether you invest in yourself and how quickly you get there.
Yeah, exactly. And that one of a mentor I had in the past said something about with regard to, investing in yourself as well, about it helps you help you who you're serving too, because the better
Yeah,
you are, the more you can give to the people you're trying to help through your business.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. So okay, so many good things there. I've even taken some notes about some like the book and some of these kind of insights, and um especially for with regard to the mindset or and the community aspect. But
Mhm.
you touched on it a few minutes ago about the money multiplier, and I'm picking up from the conversation, so, like some of where it sounds like you're getting some excitement and interest in perhaps maybe doing some coaching or some teaching and helping, looking at ways you can share your knowledge with other people. So what would you say you're most excited about with your current businesses, or anything that, is there anything like cooking behind the scenes that you might want to share with folks?
Okay, thank you. And I want to say, excuse me now. See, there's power in the show up, right? Because you guys, I've had a cold, and but I knew that I wanted to be here and be a part and share this information. And yeah, my girl Rachel Renee is a bomb. Like, so who wouldn't want to show up for her, okay? And so if I have to look, if I have sniffles, just understand that's what it is. But one of oh my goodness, I am so excited about so much of what's going on in the sense of so Good Money Multiplier. We have launched, we have an inner circle that we have, we have this a free program that we're giving to everyone about basically financial literacy that takes them from their money mindset, right? And then we talk about their money perception portfolio, like how did you get this mindset about money? And then we talk about from there, we talk about like how to make, multiple streams of income. We call it that millionaire secret. And then we help people even talk about them, what does it look like to build your legacy? It's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. And normally this is a program like I would do for it's 25K for me to coach you in it. I'm giving it away for free. For free.
Oh, I
Yes.
hope people took note of that. So
Yes,
that's
for free,
amazing.
for free. And I'm telling you, it's really, really good. And so see that one of my coaches said, you know what, you should give this for free. Only because I built so many other things on top of it that it's just, oh, it's really good. I'm excited because I love to travel. I literally I work to travel. I love seeing different, places and spaces and people. And so the Good Money Multiplier allows me to do that. I traveled to Dubai twice now as an international speaker. So your girl's an international speaker. And I talk about generational wealth both times I was there, how to build generational wealth. And it's been phenomenal. But on the other side of that too, I'm really excited for my love passion, right? Swalersville Foundation is a program, is a company we created out of our housing needs, right? Where we're really building a community. One day I'm going to be sitting with, and I'm saying it out loud, right? Because it's in the works. And, with the United Nations, my goal is to create sustainable, economically sustainable communities. There's way too many Black and brown communities in the world, right, that are really struggling and need to be healed. And I believe if you take care of a man's spiritual man and their financial being, take care of their spiritual being and their financial being, you got a beautiful individual. And we've learned how to do that. And so we created courses to go along with that. And it all works together. So for me, I'm excited about all of it. I really am. I'm excited about all of it. So
That is, I love that. That is incredible. So you have lots of good things going on. And these new things that you're creating. And I do hope people took note of the various free programs that you have going on as well. So with that in mind, just so if people do want to follow up and connect with you and find out how to get in on some of these things, how would people connect with you? And is there is there a website or anything you want to share
oh,
with people?
absolutely. Thank you. Thank you. So on social media everywhere, so IG, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, your girl is Consuela D. Hopkins, Consuela D. Hopkins on all social media. And or I'm gonna throw it out here, also Good Money Multiplier, right? As my name on the screen here suggests, right? Good Money Multiplier. So you'll be able to find me on my business page is Good Money Multiplier. My personal is Consuela D. Hopkins. And on there in my bio, in the link, we have on everywhere the access to our free course,
Okay.
right? If I know, a little bit longer, we're going to keep it free. After a while, we're going to take it off, right? So because this is nothing that I can't afford to do this for too long. But these are for those who are serious and not just curious. I'm giving you the game for free. And in there, I just encourage individuals to take it. There's nuggets in there that our children need to hear. Conversations that they don't get in high school anymore, elementary, middle school. No one's talking about financial. Now they are now a little bit more, but it's still not taught. And we're years and years and years behind This is something you can just play, and it's all video, right? Audio, and it has some worksheets to it and some assignments. It's it's the bomb, right? And so it gives you a chance to sit down during your family meetings, your Sunday meetings, like we do Sunday family dinners and wherever that's at. But it's good for the children as well as so your college students, high school, wherever you are in your life. That's my thing. I want to make sure we gave you some information that can help take you to the next level. And from there, I'm all about entrepreneurship. Again, I believe that every individual is born with a distinct natural ability. They were born for something inside them that they were supposed to really shine in this world for, give to this world, share with this world. And then I teach you how to pull that out and how to make money, how to turn that into a business that you and your creator will be proud of.
That's awesome. I love that. So, folks tuning in, or if you're catching this on either the YouTube replay or on the audio, find Consuela, connect with her on social media, grab the link in the bio, get in on this incredible course. That sounds like just an incredible resource for people, especially for free. So you do not want to miss out on that. And it has been such a pleasure to have you on the show today, Consuela. Thank you so much for being here
Thank
today.
you. Oh my goodness, it's been amazing. It's been amazing. So thank you so much for having me. I look forward to seeing all the amazing things that you're doing with fitness. I'm telling you, I'm enjoying every video. Thank you so much, right? And but I'm excited about what the future looks like for those who choose entrepreneurship, who really are serious about it because it's a life changer and I say it evens the playing field quickly, right? It takes years and years and years to make some of the money in corporate America or in a regular 9 to 5. That being your own boss and knowing how to do it, not your own boss, that's self-employed, but you want to be a business owner, we got you. I got an amazing team, an amazing team. We call them success specialists, that would love to talk to you to see where you are. What do you want to do? Where you are in your business and how to really take it to the next level. I got a multi-million-dollar business blueprint, and I just want to be able to share it with the world. So thank you so much for having me on.
Yes, thank you again. And thank you everyone for tuning in today. And as always, thank you for your ongoing support and for being subscribers and loyal listeners. And if you're not already, just remember to hit that like, subscribe, and share. And we will see you on the next episode of the Faith, Fitness, Joy podcast. Have a fabulous rest of your day. And thanks again, Consuela.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you.
Bye.
Bye now.